What up? It's Luke, aka Luke for Prez, aka the most reluctant YouTuber in the game, back again with yet another video for you guys. Hope everyone is doing well, staying safe, staying focused in these crazy times. Today, what I want to discuss is the importance of collaboration with other producers and some best practices that you can apply to the process of collaboration that will give you the best chances of being successful with it. I think everybody probably knows that it's a really good idea to be collaborating with other producers, but I'm not sure how many people actually make this an ongoing part of their day-to-day process when it comes to their music production career. Here are a few reasons why I think it's a great idea to make this a regular part of your schedule. Different producers have different specialties and can come up with ideas that you may never have been able to think of on your own. They also might have software or plugins that you don't have, which means they can make sounds that you wouldn't be possibly capable of making. Collaborating with other producers is a great way of broadening your musical and creative horizons. Collaborating also introduces you to that other producer's fan base or audience. This gives you more exposure, and it works the other way around. It gives the other producer exposure to your audience, so it's mutually beneficial. Not only will it introduce you to the other producer's audience, but it also opens up that producer's entire network of connections, potentially music industry connections. Now, instead of having just one person sending your beats out for placements, you have two. It also doubles the chances of you getting a lease sale, assuming both of you put the beat on your individual BeatStars accounts and do the proper splits and everything, which I'll get into more later. But that just basically opens up an entire new revenue stream for you. I could go on and on. I mean, there's a million reasons why you should be collaborating with other producers, but I definitely think there's a right way and a wrong way to go about it, or at least there are certain things that you can be doing to increase your chances of having a successful collaboration with someone. Like most of my videos, a lot of this stuff I'm about to cover is common sense, but a lot of these small details can be easy to overlook, and I think they're worth covering because of that. So here are some best practices that you can apply to your collaboration process going forward. Okay, so here's the first thing, and this isn't a requirement, but in my experience, it makes the process so much smoother if you just send the other producer melodies. When I was first reaching out to producers for collaborations, I would start by sending this super complicated email introducing myself and then discussing in great detail what the potential collaboration split should even look like in terms of the workload. Should I do the drums and you do the melodies, or I do the melodies, or should I do a counter melody and then you do the main melody and then I'll do the hi-hats and you do the snare? And it was just a mess. It was way too complicated. I talked about how are we gonna write the descriptions of the YouTube videos, and maybe we can do 2 beats and da-da-da-da. All that, it was information overload, and needless to say, nobody responded to those emails whatsoever. Just keep it simple. If you're sending an unsolicited email to a producer that you've never worked with before and don't know at all, just send them melodies. It takes the guesswork out of the entire process, and for a lot of producers, the melodies are the hardest part. So by reaching out with ready-made loops, you are coming to them with value, and this of course increases the likelihood of the collab actually happening. Here's the next thing, and this should be extremely obvious, but you'd be surprised. Make sure the loops that you send are 100% original compositions. Don't send a producer a loop with a sample in it that could potentially cause clearance issues down the line. And if you do, for whatever reason, definitely at least disclose that there's a sample in the loop up front before the producer spends time working on it. Also, don't just repurpose someone else's loop and try to pass it off as your own. Even if that loop was royalty free, it's just bad form at best, and at worst, it could lead to a potential lawsuit if that beat ends up getting placed somewhere down the line. Next, make sure to label the melodies that you send with your name, the name of the loop itself, the BPM, and the key that it's in. This will make the other producer's life way easier and streamline his entire process. Next, send one file per melody. What I mean by that is, if you're sending out a melody that has a bunch of different instruments in it, don't send out the individual stems of that melody to the producer. This creates a clusterfuck when decompressing the files, it wastes computer space, and it just makes the producer's process more difficult, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do. Instead, bounce the entire melody as one audio file, but just arrange it so that at some point in the loop, each instrument is playing all by itself. That way, the producer can mix and match the layers as needed, all from one audio file. Try to collaborate with producers of all levels. Obviously, the easiest ones to get a hold of will be people that are on a similar level to you in terms of exposure and notoriety. But at the same time, don't be afraid to collaborate with people who have less of a following than you. If they're fire, they're fire. Build and grow together. Having said that, there are obviously distinct advantages to collaborating with producers who have bigger followings than you. Doing so will obviously expose you to a much wider audience a whole lot quicker. But keep in mind that the higher you go up the producer food chain, the more likely it is that they're gonna charge you to collab with them. And that's perfectly fine. In fact, I recommend setting aside of your monthly marketing budget to devote specifically to paid collabs with bigger producers. This is something that I'm starting to implement now, and I'll let you know how it goes in a future video. This is a great way of scaling up quickly and can open up insane opportunities that you never would have gotten on your own. And also keep in mind that this is an investment. What starts out as a paid collab might turn into a legitimate relationship that you've built with a much more prominent producer that can then translate to additional collabs down the line that are unpaid and just increased opportunity for beat sales, placements, you name it. Split everything 50-50 with the producer when it comes time to actually upload the beat to BeatStars, and make sure to link to all of their social media profiles and everything in the description wherever you post it. They should definitely do that as well, and make sure to bring that up, but don't be too pushy about it. But especially if it's a paid collab, make sure you understand what you're getting out of it ahead of time before you actually pay them. So in that case, you might want to discuss the terms in a bit more detail ahead of time. Just make sure they intend on posting it, make sure they intend on putting it on YouTube, if that's what you want out of it. It really just kind of depends, but definitely get that squared away at some point in the process, but do so in a professional manner and don't just be demanding, you know what I'm saying? That's about it. Those are the best practices to keep in mind when going out there and looking to collab with other producers. You know, more and more producers are actually reaching out to me to collab now, which is really cool. And I'm always open to collabing with as many producers as possible. So feel free to shoot me loops. I don't charge anything as of now. I'm just looking to, build and grow with as many people as possible. That might change at some point in the future if the volume continues to rise. So get in at the ground floor, if you will, if you're looking to collab with me. And yeah, hope this has been helpful. That's all I got. I'm getting out of here. Do the YouTube stuff, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting, all of that. I'll see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day. Peace.